Good morning. I want to talk about the Mehgan Markle obsession and why we're so obsessed with Mehgan Markle. I'll tell you why. I think there is a little bit of division of givers and takers in this world. And I think there's no black and white. There's extreme givers, there's extreme takers, and there's something in between, for sure. But having said that, Mehgan Markle for me personifies all those people whose parents have given them the best. I mean, her father won the lottery. He could have bought himself a fancy home and just taken the money for himself. Instead, he chose to invest in private education, expensive private education. He paid for her college. In America, it's a lot of money to send a child to college. And he had other children. And you wonder, you have 3 kids and then you invest in this child, maybe because she was biracial and he was aware that African Americans have a tougher time in society. That's for sure, especially in the US. I can understand that. However, a daughter who disconnects from her father because she marries a wealthy prince, and I'm talking about, Prince Harry comes from a family that owns, I don't know because I'm really not a finance person, but I can tell you that they do own a lot. They live very comfortably indeed. And she doesn't have to worry about money ever, having married Harry. And yet, she, instead of helping her father in his old age, the man lives in Mexico because he can't afford to live in the U.S., who doesn't give him, U.S. doesn't take care of its citizens. There's no health care, universal health care, and it's tough. It's tough to live in America. Not everybody's a millionaire. And the man didn't save up for his old age enough. Otherwise, why would he choose to live in Mexico? By the way, his son lives next to him and helps him out. That's what a son should do for his father in his old age. And I'm happy to hear that. But this daughter, the one who got the most, the one who got the jackpot, doesn't care. Doesn't care how her father is doing. And then she goes off to the Invictus Games and talks about the importance of family and friends in time of need. What family? Doria, who didn't even raise you? Now, usually I'm all for mothers, but in this case, I'm all for the parent who gave the most, who invested the most, who actually raised a teenager, which is like so tough, dealing with all the problems. Where was Doria? Where was Doria? Well, working as an air stewardess. Like, that's the only job you can get? I understand when you're single and you don't have children, but a mother of children chooses to be an air stewardess? There's no other job in the world? You can't work in a store? There's nothing? You can't work in McDonald's? Shows you how important her daughter was to her. And now, all of a sudden, when her daughter marries a prince, she's the doting mother. She's like constantly involved in her daughter's life. Well, that's a typical taker for you. A woman who's only interested to help her daughter when it benefits her and makes her famous. All these years, when her daughter needed someone to be there when she comes home from school, her father was there. And how does she treat him in his old age? Doesn't even bother to pick up the phone. So what if he made mistakes? So what? All she cares about is her image, which is anyway tarnished because people are not stupid. And the way she talks, you really would be concerned about her mental health. I'm not saying the man is perfect. Who is perfect? Everybody makes mistakes. But he's your father. He took care of you. What happened to loyalty? Instead of loyalty, she chose royalty. And I can relate to that because I invested a lot in my children. And when I see that when I'm getting older, that not every child reacts the same. It's like so weird how the child who gets the most is not always the child who gives the most back. Is not always the one who picks up the phone. Is not always the one who texts and replies. Sometimes it's quite the opposite. And just talking about narcissism is that I think you really have to be aware. Like, after I've made so many mistakes dealing with narcissists, let me tell you the profile of a narcissist. They often are addicts. They're addicted to themselves. They're addicted to substance. Because in order to be addicted to substance, you have to be a narcissist. You have to be a narcissist. Because if you have any regard to anyone, you realize that substance destroys your life and the life of anyone that has anything to do with you. Destroys your family, doesn't only destroy you. And if you're willing to take that drug or take that drink or whatever you're doing that is more important to you than your family, you're a narcissist. And I've always wondered why I always ended up with people who care more about themselves than me, who care more about substance than me, who care more about material. And you can be addicted to money. Yes, we should talk about people who are addicted to money. You know, when you just never have enough, it's like a drug. And now I realize it. And I have money addicts in my family. And they don't care about anybody else. It's like you ask a person who's addicted to heroin to care about you. They won't never care about you. It's hard to identify them because you don't realize it's people who don't think money is that important, don't understand people who think money is everything. It's more important than family. It's more important than your daughter, your sister, your mother. Money is more important than anything. And if the person cannot provide you the money, they're not worth anything to you anymore. They're worthless to you. They don't see you. They don't call you. They won't call you because they don't see you, let's put it this way. There's no excuse for not calling your parent up and wishing them a happy holiday. There's no excuse for texting. Today we can text. Take 5 seconds to send a text message to your parents or your family members. But people who are addicted to substance like money don't see anybody who can't provide for them their drug of choice. And Mehgan Markle, for me, personifies exactly the type of person I've always attracted in my life. People who would just, like a tick, suck the blood out of me and not give a shit about how I feel, because there are ticks, parasites, sucking blood, and then they go to the next person and the next person. And if you can't provide for them what they need, and it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be heroin, it can be anything, and I'm stressing thing they need in order to thrive. And they see people as either serving their purpose, either providing them their drug of choice or not. And you know, it's not only people that in your family, it's people around you, it's people that you have to not select to be around. And it's also, I see people in a classroom, how they behave, how they treat teachers, how they really don't care about anyone but themselves. They only care about themselves, getting attention. But the difference is children, well, sometimes you can influence them to some degree. But adults, when they're past 18, Interesting. This man is finding food in the garbage, by the way. I'm just watching this man, and he's finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's finding tons of food that people throw away, and it's packaged food. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what you can find in the trash. He looks like he doesn't lack money. I mean, he has shoes, clothes, clean. Yet he finds, did you see what he found in the garbage? 5 packages of crackers somebody just tossed away. Maybe the date of use is expired. I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, I spent 10 minutes talking about narcissists. It's a very, very popular topic. But I always wonder if people who talk about narcissists aren't aware that each one of us has some tendency to be a narcissist. And yet, there's something called persona or personality, our way of reacting towards things. And guess what? Not everybody is a narcissist. Narcissist is a person who doesn't see a human being. They see a need to be fulfilled. And yes, sometimes as a teacher, you feel that you're not seen as a human being. You're seen as a person there to provide a service, and they don't really see you. But if you enjoy teaching, if you enjoy enriching children's lives and helping them learn new things, then you're there for the right reasons. But if you're expecting children to treat you like an equal, to appreciate what you're doing for them, you're not going to always get that from everyone. There are different children, and you're dealing with different types. And I'm always, even though I have years of experience, I'm always wondering what makes a child misbehave and take over a lesson and just destroy the whole lesson and not care that other kids aren't able to learn just so he can get some attention. I really wonder about that. And I have to find empathy in my heart for people who are unable to see the other person, because that's a very sad, empty life. And I wouldn't want to be a sad, empty person. It's like a can and there's nothing there. There's a lot of noise, but there's nothing really there. There's just a person seeking attention. And not a full human being who's feeling empathy towards somebody else, who sees the other person. Just see a reflection of themselves and everything. And what do I get out of this? And how much can I torment the other person for pleasure? Sometimes a narcissist is a sadist, but not always. Some narcissists enjoy torturing other people, enjoying abusing other people, just for the hell of it. And there's no logical reason, but they may be addicted to the pleasure that comes from the suffering of others. And those are the most dangerous narcissists that they exist. And there's no way somebody who's not a narcissist can even begin to understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how somebody can enjoy somebody else's suffering. But there are people who are just built that way. And I don't know who has a better chance of surviving in society. I suspect that they do, because having emotions means you also sometimes will have difficulties coping with life. Having emotions mean being in touch with your emotions, mean that sometimes you struggle, where other people emotions are not even a factor in the game. Anyway, enjoy your life. Enjoy being human and humane. Being human is not always being humane.